I'm the Frugal Gardener. I'm on the homestead. We are just a few days away from the month of May. Time to get busy, time to get serious. My load of manure has finally arrived, and also went out and picked up 50 pounds of limestone. That is going to go on the manure, and it's also going to be used for my plants that I'm going to plant in my new mini food forest up here. This is the wheat that I keep giving you guys updates on. It is doing well. I wish I had more, but today is serious because today I want to talk to you guys about drought, about conserving water, about saving your garden. So before I start, for the newcomers, as I said, I'm the Frugal Gardener. I garden in the hills of West Virginia. That's in Zone 7A. And my basic theme is gardening on a budget. So hopefully you guys will pick up a couple of tips and also save some money. For you guys who've been with me for a while now, I really appreciate it. This is my 10th anniversary on YouTube. Yes, 10 years, over 500 videos and counting. So here's the deal. When I was a child, a small boy, I was not the adventuresome type. I was not the type of person that had to learn things the hard way. I was the guy who watched the little boy put his hand on a hot stove after he was told not to. And I learned from their mistakes. So, I wasn't a curious guy who went to go down in the basement to find out what that sound was. I let somebody else do it. So having said that, I have made some mistakes and I've had some learning experiences, and it is my turn to share with you guys what I learned about gardening in the heat, gardening in the drought. And towards the end of this video, I'm going to show you something that I've never seen anybody else do. Maybe one or two people in my gardening career, but this is super simple and it's going to save you time and money, especially money on water for gardening this summer. I'm not up to speed on a lot of things that are going on today, but a lot of people are using this Chat GPT, I believe it's called, and I decided to give it a try and look up to see what they said about what is going to happen during the summer. If you don't know what Chat GPT is, ask your children. Anybody under 40 can probably give you a better explanation than I can. But here's what they said about the weather for this summer. I had to come over here and chill out with the chickens because I'm reading this from my other phone and the sun glare is so bright I can't really read it from where I am. So here it is. Most outlooks point to a hotter than normal summer across much of the U.S. Heat is expected to build as the summer goes on, with the strongest anomalies in July and August. So they're saying warmer than expected in July and August. The U.S. has already been unusually warm. The past year was the hottest 12-month period in record. And then it goes on to give me more specific information about West Virginia, which I won't go into because, everybody doesn't live here. But I will give you guys more information on that as the summer goes on. But this is no joke. So getting back to what I was saying about learning things the hard way, about 5 years ago now, well, I've been here going on 3, so I would say 5, maybe 6 years ago, but at least 5 years ago, when I was gardening off of municipal water, city water, we only got rain maybe 3 times the entire summer. Twice in July and August, once in July and once in August. It was horrendous. It was one of the most devastating gardening experiences that I have had to deal with, and I've been gardening my whole life. And the reason is because there was such a water shortage. I shouldn't say water shortage. I was using city water, and it got to the point where it was so hot and so dry, and in the 90s, that I had to make a decision. It was costing me more to water my garden than it would have cost me to buy the vegetables and fruits from the store. So I had to let quite a bit of my garden go, and that still haunts me to today. So what I am showing you guys is everything, not everything, but much of what I've taught myself over the years. I'm going to give you like 15 things that you can do, that you can start doing now, that's going to save you on having the same problem that I had in terms of not having enough water or having to pay through the nose, because now you got these things that they're on with these centers they're building. They're building one not far from me that use up all this these data centers. And they're using a lot of power and a lot of water. Electric bills are going up, water bills are going up. So this is going to be a big help, hopefully, to everybody. And towards the end, like I said, I'm going to show you something that I don't think you're going to see anywhere else. And this is something that I did a couple of years ago. I took the time this morning to go back and find a video to make sure that I can link you guys to it if you want to see the process. And this here requires a little bit of explanation. No, it's not laundry day. This is one of my hacks for helping you to conserve and save this spring and summer. Do not wait until the summer, because then everybody's going to be trying to get a hold of all this stuff at once. Some of these tips I'm giving you will cost you nothing. Some of them will cost you a few dollars, and some may cost you a little bit more. So let's start with, I'm going to start with some of the things that you guys might already know. And let's start with the shade cloth, because most of you guys know what they are and you probably use them. I have 3 of these. This is, I think, 70%. They come in different shapes. They come in different sizes, and they come in different percentages in terms of the amount of heat. I'm sorry, the amount of sun that will block. You can block 50%, 60%, 70%. I think they go all the way up to 90%. These are pretty inexpensive. I would measure out the area that you want to use this in. And in my case, like I said, I have a couple of these. Get them now before they run out or before the price goes up, because that is going to help you to save on your watering, because it's going to block the sun. The number 2 is something, again, I'm going to get to the new stuff, the good stuff, but let me just get the basic stuff out of the way for you guys who've been doing this for a while. Don't water in the middle of the day. That's a huge no-no. Water in the morning or water in the evening, because if you water in the middle of the day, you run the risk of the sun drying out your plants, drying out your garden, and then you end up using more water. And while you're at number 3, I would say, if you can help it, don't use a water hose. Yes, it's faster. Yes, it's convenient, but you use a lot more water, and you actually waste a lot more water when you use a water hose. Well, people might say to me, okay, I don't have the money to buy a shade cloth. And that's where this comes in. This is just an old sheet that we had laying around the house. And if you have a sheet, preferably a light color, you can put some stakes up. I didn't bother to hang it because I have a lot to do and a lot to talk to you guys about. I'm still working on this. This will block the sun during the middle of the day. No, it's not a big deal right now, because we're still in spring. It's still April. But when you get to July and August, you're going to want something that you can block that sun part of the day. And this won't cost you anything because it's something you already have on hand. Now, one of the things that I have not talked to you guys about in a long time, if you have been with me for years and years, you might remember me talking about this a long time ago, and that is this coconut coir. This basically has very little value in terms of adding nutrients to your soil, but the purpose of this is to absorb moisture. The purpose of this is to keep your soil from drying out. So this is going to save you a ton of money. And on the front here, it even tells you this expands. You put this in water, and this will expand into 16 quarts in about 10 minutes. I would say give it a little bit longer than that. This will break up. This will become malleable, and you add this to your soil, and this is going to work wonders in helping your soil to retain moisture. Another thing that's going to help your soil to retain moisture is basically you can use wood chips. You can use mulch. This is mulch right here. I would not use this because this has been treated. So you want mulch that has not been treated. You take that mulch and you put it around your tree, your plant, your garden, and that is going to help block the sun rays from sucking all the moisture out of your garden. This is going to be a battle. This is going to be, who knows for sure? I don't know if the computer, if ChatGPT is correct, but we have had the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 summers that I can remember have been hotter than normal. And yes, you're going to still have to use water, but this is going to help a lot. You put this around it, and that's going to protect it from the sun. But like I said, you don't want the kind with the chemicals. So something new. Here's another one. I haven't even been keeping count, but this is a bag, a donut bag. There's a lot of different names for it. Basically, this is a new gadget that I picked up. And sometimes you got to spend money to save money. You basically fill this up. There's the valve there. There's another one there. You take these, you put it around the tree. You can see where the tree goes. And again, these come in different sizes. And the water slowly releases as the day goes on. It gets into the tree. You'll notice a recurring theme here where you are basically releasing the water into your soil gradually so that you're not spending a ton of money on keeping your plants from dying. I mean, literally dying. The other thing is tree bark. I have a bunch of that in my driveway over here, and that's something that will have the same effect as the mulch. Mulch, tree bark, those two things. Also, again, you guys know that I have a fireplace, and the ash from the fireplace, it's the same thing. You can mix this in your soil, and this will help absorb and hold on to the moisture that you are going to hopefully retain during the heat of the day. Now, another thing, something that I just started using again that I used to use years ago, I'm pulling all the tricks out. I'm pulling out all the stops. I'm not saying you have to use all these. This is kind of, choose your adventure. But what I intend to do is use multiples. I intend to use and combine two or three of these at once. This is just burlap. Anything that you can put on or around your plants that is going to allow the water to get through, but help block the rays of the sun. That's going to help you to save money. And I would take that burlap and wrap it around this peach tree here. And hopefully this will do the trick. When I say hopefully, because that's not really a lot of burlap. I'm going to have to order more. But as the summer goes on, the spring goes on, I'm going to be focusing more on what I can do to keep my garden from roasting, from burning up over the summer. So we talked about the coconut coir. We talked about the mulch, the tree bark. We talked about the wood ash. We talked about using the sheet as makeshift shade cloth. We talked about using the shade cloth. But one of the other things that I'm definitely already have it sort of laid out. This is a drip line. Now, people confuse drip lines with irrigation systems. This, you basically hook to where you would hook up your hose. In this case, I'm going to try to do a gravity feed from my water troughs, bring it in, and this is all going to have plants that I'm growing all along here. This is not going to be here. This is all going to be plants. All the way down, it's going to be plants. And now you can see the green one on the other side. So basically, you turn this on low, and you let the water just soak into the ground, hence the term soaker hose. And this way, you're not just blasting water all over the place, and you get a ridiculous water bill, and you want to just rip everything out and call it a day. This way, you're still watering your plants, but you're using less water. You're being more strategic. And again, I would do this in the evening, or I would do this in the morning. And this way, you are conserving water, but your plants are still getting what they need. Now, the alternative to that is this. And I'm excited about this. I'm excited about getting started with this. This is my solar drip irrigation. There's what is that? Like a butterfly. This, I guess you can tell, this is brand new, right out the box. This is not just solar. This is programmable. This is a little bit more complicated to set up, and I'm going to have to take some time. The reason why it's not set up is because I don't have anything planted over here yet. But right here, you see where it says Solar Drip Irrigation Manual. So that is going to also be drawn from one of these 3 troughs here. These are roughly 170 gallons each. And I have a guy now who can bring me water, and I can basically fill these up and use them throughout the summer. That's the difference between the lesson I learned from 5 years ago and now. To be able to have as much water as I need, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be free, but it's pretty inexpensive. I mean, I can get like a load of water for like 30 bucks, and that will last me probably for the month. So I'm fortunate that I'm not relying on city water anymore. I'm going to do a video on what's in that water. I was going to do that today, but I try to keep these videos relatively short, and to go into that, and it's a whole nother story. I'm going to give you guys a link. In the next video, I'll give you guys a link to where you can go, put in your zip code, and find out who supplies you with the water, and it will tell you the chemicals that are in your water. I typed in a couple of my old addresses. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. And I'm going to give you an alternative to what you can do pertaining to that also. So, yeah, I think I hit just about everything. Oh, this is coming back again. This comes back every year. My list shows you how clever I am. I put my list in my phone, which I'm using to make this video. So let me make sure that, oh, well, I can tell you right now, I've already left out the pine cones. How could I leave out the pine cones? My granddaughter went out and picked these personally for me. She saw that I had two laying on the desk. She asked me what I needed them for, and she was out playing over the weekend. She kept bringing me more and more and more. So this is the same principle as what I was saying to you about using the mulch and using the burlap. This is all natural, obviously, and this is to block the heat, but it lets the water through. So this is something, in my case, I have this all over the property, so it doesn't cost me any money. If you know somebody, if you don't have this yourself and you know somebody that does, then by all means, get as many of these as you can. And like I said, you don't have to just use one method. You can use this. You can use the shade cloth. You can use the drip irrigation. You can use 3 or 4 different applications that all will help cut down on your water bill and still give you a dynamite harvest. So let me check my list before I get to the final thing that I said I wanted to show you guys. Well, I didn't do too bad. I just checked my list, and there was only one thing that I forgot to mention to you guys, and that is these black containers. I mentioned this a while ago. I don't know how many of you guys are able to catch all my videos. That's the reason why sometimes I repeat myself. But just like you don't wear black, generally speaking, or dark colors in the summer, you don't want to use black containers. Now, you're probably saying, well, I'm showing you black containers. Okay, these are containers that I've already had, and because I'm using pretty much everything this year, some of these will just be in here for a short time, and I'll transfer them over to something larger like this. But if you notice, the majority of what I'm using are not black. The darker the color, the more heat you're going to attract, the more moisture that heat is going to suck out of your plants, and the more water you're going to have to use. So if you can help it, use lighter containers in the summertime. Containers like this, these grow bags, will also attract the bees and the birds. So this is something that you want to use, like this light color here, this tan. These are the kind of containers that you want to use, because that will definitely help cut back. Like I said, multiples. If you use light containers, if you use a shade cloth, if you use mulch, there's like I said, 3 or 4 things. Drip irrigation, he said. If you use 3 or 4 of these, apply 3 or 4 of these, then you're definitely going to notice a reduction in how much water you're going to need. Now, for the big reveal, the big promise. I did a video a long time ago. It was well, considered a big hit back then in terms of the number of views and responses that I got, because it worked so well. And I'm going to duplicate it again. This is a small sample, a small example of what I'm going to do on a larger scale. So basically, this pot is about 80% full. I did a whole raised garden, which is what I'm going to do. Well, you can't see it from here, but I'm going to do it back there, and I might do it a couple of more times up here. And I basically cover it with straw. I'm going to say it again, straw, not hay. There's a huge difference, because hay, you might end up with a lot of bugs and you get little things that you don't want. You can see right there that this is actually straw. The reason why I stopped using it is because I didn't have a really reliable reasonably priced source. I got it from Thunder Acres off of Amazon, and it was pretty pricey. So for me to use it on a large scale just wasn't happening. Now I'm on the homestead, and I run into guys all the time. They give me tips and tell me where to go to pick up things. I can buy this whole bale here for less than 20 bucks. That is a huge savings. I'm not sure. Well, it doesn't give me the weight. It says 18 cubic feet. This is strapped down. When I cut this open, this goes a long, long way. So what you want to do is you want to put at least 4 or 5 inches of straw in your garden. And then you want to cover it the rest of the way with soil. See, in the beginning, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But when you think about it, it does. Because now, when you water this pot or raised garden or whatever it is, and that water soaks from the surface, it's going to hit this straw. The straw is going to soak it up, and it's going to retain that moisture. So once you get roots that go down deeper, it's going to access this water. And as this straw breaks down, you'll get an added benefit of the nutrients from the straw. So you're getting the nutrients, and you're getting the benefit of saving water. Now, I also put straw on top, so it's kind of like a sandwich. So I had straw underneath, soil, and then straw on top. But again, you can put your drip hose on top, or you can put your any other of the things that we talked about. You can put your burlap on top, so you have a double layer of protection, because now you have the sun not being able to get directly to the soil, and you have the straw that's holding on to the moisture, which is kind of a slow release going into your plant. That's the big savings for you today. That's my super tip. That's the thing that I sort of got away from. And as you can see, I have a lot of straw. We get this for the chickens. So when I go to pick up the chicken feed at the beginning of the month, I'll probably pick up another one of these, and I will be using this a lot. So hopefully you guys got something out of this video. I don't expect that you'll use all these, but even if you could use 1 or 2, then I think it's worth the time to make this video. I'm glad you guys were able to stop by. Please tell your friends, because everything, I tell you almost every video now, the prices are continuing to go up. Gas prices are up, food prices are up, the temperature is going to be up, and we need to really start thinking about how we're going to feed ourselves and feed our families over this summer. So this is a good time to start making your plan for your garden if you haven't already. And I'm going to give you guys more information on the water situation in the next video. So hopefully you hit the notification button, and hopefully you hit the subscribe button already. This is the Frugal Gardener. Thank you for watching. Remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Enjoy your day.